Good morning, Spirit and Truth, Sanctuary, and happy Friday to everyone. Good to see you this morning. We are once again in our Fully Awake 365 devotional. Good morning, my sister. Do you have the joy of the Lord today?
I do.
We're all in our places with sunshiny faces, and this is the way. That's like Archie Bunker. Remember Archie Bunker's wife?
Yes.
We start a new day. All right, that just a little joy for everyone. My mother used to sing us that song in the morning, and along with many other songs. And so we're glad to see you this morning. Today is Friday, September the 8th, and we are in the month of September, and focusing on the theme of truth is a journey, not a destination. And so that's a bit of a continuation from the beginner's mind, celebrating truth not as something that can be figured out, but something that is a process of unfoldment and of awakening. So I'm going to give you a little joy this morning. If my sister guesses this song, I'm already impressed, because I won't play music trivia with her ever. But if anyone knows this song and the artist, I will really, really be impressed. I will give you my sweaty preacher's rag from Sunday if you want. My initialed Bishop D.E. sweat cloth. Sorry, my sister and I, we make fun of religion a lot, but that's okay. All right, if you recognize this song, let us know. Hopefully it brings you a little joy.
Who's that walking around here? Mercy. Sounds like baby patter. Baby elephant patter, that's what I calls it. Say, up in Harlem, at a table for two, there were four of us, me, your big feet, and you. From your ankle up, I'll say you sure are sweet. From there down, there's too much feet. Yes, your feet's too big. Don't want you 'cause your feet's too big. Can't use you 'cause your feet's too big. I really hate you 'cause your feet's too big. Yeah. Where'd you get 'em?
No, I'm seeing some interesting guesses going on. Those are some good guesses. All right.
Okay, let's see here. So LaDonna guessed, we'll go with LaDonna first, Louis Armstrong, which is a good guess. That's not who it is.
Satchmo.
Dr. Sharunda said Dizzy Gillespie.
Gillespie. Uh-huh.
Oh, and then Louis Armstrong perhaps shows that those were good guesses as well. I'm just gonna jump over. Laverne said Louis or Cab. What I don't know, maybe
Cab Calloway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, LaDonna. Okay, but anyway, so it looks like I think that is either Miss Bobby or Fred. Guess your feet too big, but there's one little thing in the title. It's not your feet, it's your feets.
Your feet.
No, and they're not too big. Only my brother's going to understand this reference. They're prodigious.
Prodigious. I heard somebody use prodigious the other day, LaDonna, and I thought, wow.
So on YouTube, there's something pretty funny. LaDonna, you will enjoy this. Well, first of all, let's see. Miss Margie did guess your feet too big. Left off the S, but that's okay.
Your feet's too big.
But Billy Smith wrote the opposite of small people.
Little people, short people need love too. That was Fats Waller.
Oh,
Fats Waller, your feet's too big. I will be honest with you. I watched a movie the other night with Mos Def, who is an incredible both musical artist and an actor. I love Mos Def. He was in a movie with Jack Black, who is my all-time favorite actor. in a movie called Be Kind, Rewind. It was set in Harlem, where Fats Waller is from, and they were trying to kind of rejuvenate the community and get people to come together. And this song with Fats Waller is from Harlem, and so I just fell in love with the song. And if you need some love today, download the Apple playlist of Fats Waller. It is unbelievable. All right, that was a little joy today. Throwing it off over to you, my sister.
All right. So let me let everybody in on the little inside joke. When my brother was about 13, he grew one summer like a lot. And so my dad kept tripping over him because he'd lay in the floor to watch TV. And he told him one night, he said, your feet are just prodigious. And Donald didn't know what it meant. And he was so hurt. His feelings were very hurt that Dad called his feet prodigious when it just meant big.
You big.
Okay. Our affirmation this morning is, I am balanced, stable, moderate, and at peace, walking the middle way. I am not attracted to extremes or gimmicks. Today, I confess that I am clothed in my right mind and seated at the feet of Jesus.
Seated at the feet of Jesus. Look at you. That was just on the fly, or did you premeditate that?
No, I did not.
That was brilliant. All right, so we're going to talk about the middle way this morning, and I do want to give you just a little disclaimer that the middle way in Buddhism really is talking more in context about the Eightfold Noble Path, right living, right livelihood, those kind of things, but a kind of an ancillary teaching of the middle way or Eightfold Noble Path is about moderation. And so it is all inclusive of that. So midway road, spirit and true sanctuary, we understand the middle way and not to live in extremes. All right. So the middle way is a Buddhist teaching that encourages balance by avoiding extremes. The middle way suggests that we not be overly given to self-indulgence or self-denial, to overeating or to starvation, to sexual promiscuity or to asceticism. Some of our Buddhist monk friends, as well as our Catholic priests, do live an ascetic life, but the Eightfold Noble Path teaches a little bit more balance, and that I believe that it is an extreme that doesn't work long term. Overly given to hilarity or to seriousness. So the middle way could be described as practicing the wisdom of moderation. And so some of us have observed people, we hopefully have observed ourselves getting out of balance, falling into extremes. I certainly have in my journey. When I was a younger man, I fasted food quite a bit. I hid myself away and prayed and gave up all types of vices to try to hear from God. And I don't think that was in vain. I think it helps us to find a space where we can be quiet. Here's the thing, it doesn't make God speak to us. It maybe just clears out the obstacles that keep us from hearing or uncovering what we already know deep, with the wisdom that is deep within us. And so, but the teaching about middle way is that there are some, both in Christianity and in other religions, who become fanatical. They become overly zealous or zealots. They become they become orthodox or in some ways radicalized to their specific religion. And it's not something that is sustainable. It is just not a sustainable way to live your life, to have impact on the collective consciousness. It's not a world that we want to live with a bunch of religious fanatics. And so we're trying to find the middle way, both in our religious, spiritual practice and in our own lives. Look at about the third line up from the second paragraph. It says, and as a result, their extreme lifestyles, this leads to exhaustion, to sensory overload, and eventually a strong sense of guilt. Why? I can't sustain this crazy religious practice, this exercise routine, this strict diet. I have to have a little bit of moderation. So on one occasion in my life, I was a younger minister. My children were very small. They were asleep, obviously, at 3:00 in the morning. Got a phone call. I thought someone was dead. That's usually what preachers get in the middle of the night, is that someone has died. If you're E.V. Hill, the late E.V. Hill would say, if one of your loved ones dies at 3 a.m., do not call me. They will still be dead at 8 a.m. Only he could say that because he was about 85 when he said it. But this individual called me at 3 a.m. to discuss one of the chapters in Revelation. And I let him know that this was not appropriate, that my family was asleep, and that we could have that conversation in the morning when everyone was awake. And he chided me for my lack of love for God, my lack of thirst for the Bible. About 2 months later, he just could not sustain this. He said he wasn't going to church anymore, didn't want to practice religion anymore. And 25 years later, I am still studying the scriptures almost daily. I have a master's degree in theological studies. And so he probably did not understand my balanced approach to spiritual practice, that there's a time and a place for all things. 3 a.m. is not the time to discuss the 21st chapter of Revelation. And so how do we approach our lives with moderation? How do we find a sustainable path to many things, to saving or overspending, finding the balance between too much fun and too much work? There is a balance between all those things. Look down, if you will, it's about 5 lines up from the bottom. It says that the Apostle Paul asks us a question, who teaches on moderation. You ran well, but what did hinder you? Or in essence, or in other words, you started strong, but then you burned out, or perhaps you lost balance. Whether it's exercise, work, spending, volunteer work, there exists a balanced path that allows for stability, consistency, and longevity. You can find that. By the way, my sister, who is a wordsmith, is it pronounced longevity or longevity?
No hard G, longevity.
Like lounge, like lounging,
Yes.
lounge. Is it a je?
It's a je. It's a je. There's no g.
So are we judging the buffet?
We're judging the longness.
We're judging the longevity and the prodigiousness of the feats.
And our prodigious feet.
All right, turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you. Now I have to pray after that.
You have to judge after that. All right.
All right. Our prayer for this morning. Sustainer God, teach me the ways of balance. Give me the passion and pace, the wisdom and way to endure to the end. Amen.
Amen. And so it is. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Sunday is September 10th. It will be one day before the 22nd, I believe, anniversary of 9/11. And so as an interfaith community, it's important for us to be mindful of what we do, what we model, the message that we stand for. And we're going to talk about finding a way to light a candle in the midst of darkness. How do we find the middle way in the midst of religious, sometimes irrationality? And so all that spirit doesn't just exist in the Middle East. It is also alive and well in America, as we can see very clearly. And so how do we find a sustainable path that leads us to both honor those who died in 9/11 and to not recreate that same mentality? As LaDonna said, I think Sunday morning, she said, no problem can be solved using the same consciousness that created it. And so it may be different religions, but it is still the same consciousness. And so how do we find a sustainable path toward peace? We're going to talk about it Sunday morning. Have a great rest of your day. Have hopefully a restful weekend. And we'll see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Go in peace. We love you guys.